What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA, and I am your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano. This is the Lambo Plays Podcast, episode 124, UFC Vegas 103. Before we start out here, fucking StreamYard has screwed us up with this intro music that is absolutely god-awful. I don't know how to change it. Really tilting, to be honest. But with that being said, Tim, how do you feel about UFC Vegas 103? We lost 2 fights, so we're all the way down to 10 now. It's been a train wreck on this card. I don't know, 6 fights. There's been 4 cancellations, and I don't know. It's all over the place. How do you feel about this card?
Yeah, I don't like this card, honestly. I think this card actually has a ton of potential for live bets. Is the only way that I kind of like it. But other than that, I think that this fight card kind of sucks from a betting perspective. There should be some entertaining fights, but I just think that it's tough to find like really good props that I think are going to actually hit. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really love it, honestly, from a betting perspective. It's kind of been, dude, props have just been nuked, man. They're just being nuked every week. Books are kind of on it, and kind of the value is kind of sucked out of a lot of these props. So you got to be careful. With that being said, let me go over to my chat. Shout out my chat per usual. Mushroom first in the house. What's up, my man? DA07. Welcome as well. Buster Jensen says, what's up, guys? Got all my money on Brundage KO. This guy's such a cheater. Twice he's won, fooling the ref. Yeah, the guy is definitely a fun guy. Really like the start of the Lambo Plays. Appreciate you. There will be blood. Wait, you like that starting music? Oh, my God. I'm going to fucking kill myself with that starting music. Ted B checking in one more time. What's up, my man? Azure Blue. Thank you as well for joining, man. Appreciate you. Daz, what's up, my man? Smash that like he said. What else is here? Craig Crowley, what's up, my man? Grant as well. Senor Papito in the house. Double flush. Time to win more money. Jackie Blaine, what's up, my man? As well. Felipe, Eric Albright, Dixon, Daniel Lynn, Landon, Sujit, Bunk Hoots, Ryan the Ripper, Fresh. And I will say we crushed ACA this morning. Absolutely cleaned up on ACA. So that was good. With that being said, Tim, let's start out. First fight of the night. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 17-6 Charles Johnson versus the 18-2 Ramazan Tamarov. Kick us off. All right, you're kicking us off in the wrong way.
Yeah, they're starting off hot here, guys. Starting off hot. I don't think this fight's kind of interesting. Charles, I mean, I think Charles is a better live bet. This is another one of those spots where I just think that this is good, could potentially be a good live spot. Tamarov just goes full rabies and has some serious power. Seems to be super small and tanky and juiced up. Pretty bad. So I don't know. I'm going to go with a couple that I think that are pretty live. I think Charles round 3 plus 1600, kind of like, we've hit it once out of a million tries. So I think we got to try it again with this guy that goes full rabies. And then I do kind of like the draw as well in this fight. I think it's possible that either guy could get a 10-8 in round 1 or round 3 and not finish. So I'll take a shot on those. I do think that this fight, I would give those out, but I do think this fight also has split potential because of just early rounds, Tamarov, late rounds, Charles. So I do feel like this fight is kind of like, if it does go, and it's also like just minutes, moments. So I think if you're a split better like I am, you might take a small stab at either guy like that or ends by split. But I'll go with the Charles round 3 and the draw as my 2 plays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Charles Johnson 2-3 here. 1,200, 2,000. It's actually 2,000 on 365. Yeah, I mean, this guy, coming off a quick knockout UFC, he's got a lot of round ones. I don't think his cardio is terrible, but he's never fought a guy like Johnson that teeps to the body, that, he turns it up and usually in rounds 2 and 3. And, him having this second time fighting in the UFC, it matters. He might still have jitters because the first one, he just went out and knocked him out. So there's potential that he can hurt Johnson early and potentially maybe finish, but Johnson knows how to survive. He's a veteran. He's looking better and better every fight. And with that being said, I have to kind of play these props at big numbers on him. Yeah, it's flyweight. It doesn't usually hit. But when it hits, it pays off pretty big because they're huge prices. So Johnson 2, 1,200. Johnson 3, 2,000. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Fight number 2. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 13-10 Andrea Lee versus the 13-7 JJ Aldrich. And I got nothing, literally nothing. You can't play anything here. I'm not going to give people a prop here where I don't see literally zero value in props here, like none. The split is absolutely horrific. The decision props are horrific. I don't think that, either one of these girls is finishing. So, what am I going to give? What kind of prop can I give these people? And honestly, there's nothing. There's nothing of value here. I think the fight goes at a very, very high clip. And, if the only thing I could say is if you believe that Lee has a shot to win, then play her decision because that's how she's going to win. So maybe split. I don't know what her split is, but
7.
Man, I am completely passing. Because I don't even like even lead decision. Like, she's 200. You can add almost, close to 200, 180, whatever. And her decision props like 260, 250. Like, what the hell? So it's a pass for me, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not going to add much to this. Lee by points plus 270. Lee by split plus 700. Lee by split plus 700 to me, I think, is the play. I mean,
that's probably the only play, honestly, on the whole thing. Like, yeah. What is Aldrich split? 400 or something stupid?
350, something stupid.
Oh my goodness!
It was plus 225 for ends by split. It's like the worst.
Yeah, fuck that. That's horrific. Don't play that. That's just.
I think Lee split is not a terrible play, to be honest.
If you guys want my take on this fight, I think Aldrich wins. I think Lee is looked horrific in her last fight. I think if you want. I hate laying juice with WMMA in a one-dimensional fight where I think it's probably most likely striking the whole way. And Aldrich doesn't really, yeah, she looked good in one fight where she 30-27 or the other one where she finished, but she just doesn't pull away too much. And Lee is like a weasel. She kind of fights close. But I do think she's kind of the side, even at these prices. Like, I can't play Lee. She looks horrible. I cannot play her. So, yeah. I mean, if you were asking me who wins, I think it's JJ Aldrich. What's up, Finesse? Listen to the man. Hit the like. Appreciate that, my man. All right, let's move on. Fight 3. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 15-3 Lucas Almeida versus the 9-1 Danny Silva. This one's yours, Tim.
Kind of on an island on this one, I think. I think that this fight's going to be a war. I think these guys are both capable of just going, swinging dicks and going after each other. But I do think that this fight, I don't know, I'm kind of fading the masses on this one. That, tons of people have bet the fight to go and the unders on this fight. It started off like 50-50 and now it's, it's like minus.
You mean fight doesn't go?
Fight doesn't go. Yeah, I'm sorry. Fight doesn't go. Thank you. And like the unders on this fight. So they've kind of smashed that. I'm actually going with the kind of the GTD, what happens if this fight goes method. And I think that if this fight goes, Silva to me is like just super hittable and he can put out volume, but he's like super hittable. Almeida is less durable in this fight, but I think he punches harder. I also think that he's just a cleaner striker, but I just feel like he's less durable. So he might get rocked a couple times. He might even get finished. I think the grappling upside it's kind of weird. I think that there's wrestling upside for Silva, but I don't think that the takedown defense for Almeida is terrible. I just think that if he gets taken down, that's where he's really not good. Like if he does get taken down, he plays jiu-jitsu off his back. He doesn't have great get-ups. So to me, I think that there's like a few that are good spots. I'm going to go with ends by split plus 600, Lucas by points plus 650. It doesn't, the Lucas by split they took off the board, but I think that that's a good spot as well. I think if you're on Silva, I don't hate the sub price on him at 8-1. I think that it is possible that he could, if he does get on top, or if he's getting rocked, that he might be able to get a sub. But I'm going to go with the trifecta on the ends by split plus 600, Lucas points plus 650, and Lucas split.
So yeah, I mean, the thing is, I kind of think this is a car crash, honestly. I gave it out. Fight doesn't go or something under. I think I gave under at -110 at Pick'em, basically. Just both guys don't like the back foot. Both guys swing. Almeida has a ton of power, but he's so hittable. Silva is durable, but he's very hittable. And he's, I've seen him get hurt. And Almeida hits very hard. And so, but Danny Silva, the way he fights, man, he can literally cook people. And, Almeida missed weight. Whether that's from whatever, I don't know, but he did miss weight by about 2 pounds. I think taking a poke on Silva round 3 at 13-1 on Hard Rock. I'm just playing round 3. It's not bad. I also don't think that Almeida KO is bad at almost 4.5-1, just because he hits super, super hard, man. And being as hittable as Danny Silva is, even though he's a dog, I mean, he's an absolute dog, you're going to get knocked out eventually when you're eating, big shots. And this is, when I look at Danny Silva, this is definitely the biggest puncher he's faced in Almeida, like by a wide margin. So KO 4.5-1, I think is not bad. I do think Danny Silva wins this fight. Just by gritting it out and probably just cooking Almeida down the stretch. So grappling, you mentioned grappling. Silva maybe is able to land takedowns. I don't think he can hold Almeida down. That's the thing. I don't think his jiu-jitsu is just not good enough, and he's not the best wrestler, so.
It's like he has 3 to 5 seconds to do something. If he hits his back and he doesn't immediately get up, that's when he's really not good. Like he can get up. I'm not disagreeing, but I think he has those times where in certain fights where you're just like, dude, he gets either put flat on his back and then he's just kind of fucked. But if he gets in
Kwamba got a couple takedowns on him and he was pretty good getting up. The only guy that kind of destroyed him on the ground was Sabatini, but
yeah, that's totally different.
But he's so good, it's like big difference. All right. Let's move on. Fight number 4. It is in the featherweight division. It is 17-6. Ricardo Ramos versus the 17-6 Chpe Mariscal. Isn't that funny? Both guys are 17-6. Yeah, I mean, Ricardo Ramos, I've kind of said this before about this guy. I do think you can make this guy quit. I do think he finds a way out sometimes. Last time out against Kulabau, got his leg chopped off. Kulabau stood on top of him while he's on the ground, kicking him or trying to figure out a way to kick him for 2 minutes, where this guy was just laying on his back instead of telling him get up right away and kick in the calf again. It was just mind-boggling. And then he proceeds to lose the fight. He literally lost the fight on 2 moments. He's completely dominating that fight, but on those 2 moments, he lost that fight. Seen him, those guillotines, he's tapping so quick both times. The fight against, who was that? Murphy, he went into the fetal position and kind of just basically gave up. And I see differently with Chpe. I see a lot of dog in the guy. I see very good cardio, good scrambling ability, good takedown defense. He can grapple himself. But I think Here, let me preface this whole thing before I give my play. I do think that the best outcome of this fight is probably Chpe 2-3, but the lines are horrific. The lines are horrific. It's like 4-1 and like 6.5-1. Like, it's just the pricing on those, when you look at the percentages of those hitting, are just not very good. So like, it's hard to give that out, right? It's just not a great play when it comes to the price. I've seen Chpe put into submissions though, and he gets out of them. He's just sub defense is really good. But I guess if you're looking at value, and do I think it happens? No, because I think Chpe wins this fight. But 14-1 on Ramos sub just alone, it's literally, something that, you're looking at what? 14-1. It's like they're saying it happens like 6% of the time. The guy has 7 wins by sub. He's he's a black belt. I don't think it's the worst prop to play, honestly. 14-1. Chpe might wrestle, might put himself into something. You never know. And Ramos is long, man. You saw him in the face-offs. He's much bigger than Chpe's. And also Ramos is at the Fighting Nerds. So, maybe they change up the game plan and say, hey, listen, this guy might shoot on you. This guy might do this, look for a submission. So 14-1, Ramos, sub. Do I think he wins? No. But I do think there is a little bit of value there on Ramos sub. Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I agree with you on the 2-3 for Chpe. I mean, that's going to be my call because that's what I think happens. But I think the lines are terrible. You can get 700 on DK, 450 on FanDuel. I don't hate the sub 2 and sub 3. It's 17-1 and 23-1. Just basically from the paths that we've seen these guys, like how quick Ramos is tapping. I mean, offensively, his jiu-jitsu is very good, but defensively, dude, he just quits. And so I do think that Chpe could get in this position on top and just be like, okay, this guy's giving me up. He's giving up his back, or he's just absolutely trying to give up, and now he's giving up his neck. So Chpe has subs in his career too. So round 2, round 3, don't hate the small stabs at sub 2, sub 3 for Chpe. If I was on the Ramos side, I would take a shot at KO1 at 27-1. I think the potential of like just a meme ass, like I think his win condition is like super meme KO spinning shit. Like that just crazy ass meme. But I don't know. I also think that this is one of those fights that there's multiple fights like this on this card where skill for skill, you're looking at a person that might have more skill, but just doesn't have fight and doesn't have heart and doesn't have cardio. And I just think like there's multiple fights like that in this, and then this is one of them.
I agree. I mean, Chpe, I just feel like one has a lot more dog in him, man.
Totally. That's all it is.
The other guy really.
He's not he's not significantly better at anything than Ramos is, except for having heart and fight.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I mean, they're probably equivalent in striking. Maybe Ramos might be a little bit better even. I would say maybe Chpe is the better wrestler of the two, and he's got the better scrambling ability. But jiu-jitsu wise, it's probably Ramos, technically better jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. 14-1 just feels a little bit off. I know Chpe's, I don't think he's ever been subbed, so that's part of why it's 14-1, right? All right, let's move on. Fight number 5. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 13-5 Austin Lane versus the 9-0 Mario Pinto. Tim?
This fight sucks. Yeah, I mean, Austin Lane, I mean, his win condition is 15 minutes, lay and pray, just like he kind of got versus Rubelas de Spain. I think he showed a little bit better durability in that fight to take a few shots versus Rubelas. Obviously, Rubelas was tired and just easily said it, easily just got taken down and has nothing off of his back. To don't really have any idea about this Pinto guy from what I've seen on tape. I really can't tell if this guy's going to be good or not. I'm being dead honest, totally transparent here. Seems to be somewhat athletic for heavyweight. Maybe doesn't really have super power, in my opinion. I know he got an early knockout in the Contender Series, but it doesn't seem like this guy's got like heavyweight power. So I'm gonna go like Pinto round 3 plus 750 and Pinto by decision plus 370.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he should dominate this fight. But I agree with some aspects of what you're saying. Like he likes to touch. He doesn't really go ham, like trying to knock out people. And I think he might be doing the same here just because he's maybe concerned a little bit with a takedown or a blast double, so he doesn't want to really throw hard. I honestly, there's not many great prices on this fight. I do think that Austin Lane gas is pretty bad, honestly. When you look at the whatchamacallit fight, Denise fight, he looked awful after just dominating in round 1. Like, what happened? But again, we're going to this well where Pinto round 2 is 360. Like, it's absolutely horrific, man. It's a horrific. I mean, could Pinto knock him out in 1? Sure. Could he knock him out in 2? Sure. Could he knock him out in 3? Sure. Could it go to decision? Probably. I mean, possibly as well. So, I mean, I agree with you here. I think decision. You can get 420, by the way. I forgot where that was. I think maybe Rivers or something. But 420 on decision. Round 3, I guess. I mean, it's 750. It sucks. It really sucks. KO 3 is probably 800. Like, it's just not anything that is, appealing. So I'm going to just go with decision here, plus 420. I think Pinto dominates. So I think he's honestly, if you want a parlay piece, I mean, I think he's pretty much, I think should be 85, 88% here. I don't think Lane is going to be able to take him down. And if he does, I think he pops right back up. He's got very good athletic ability. He can get up. He's quick. He's got good footwork. And he has good takedown defense. So, yeah, I think Austin Lane they're trying to just give him to a prospect, in my opinion, here, which is what they tried in the Despain fight, except Despain is completely shitty. All right, let's move on. Fight number 6. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 9-0 Danny Barlo versus the 12-2-1 Sam Patterson. And I will kick this one off. This is another one where it's tricky in the sense that I think Barlo can definitely find the chin here of Patterson, because Patterson holds it up like that in the air. He literally does. He's like, hit me. And Barlo seems to be athletic, athletic guy. It looks a little bit, like he's strong and stuff. But when you go back and watch some tape on him when he's faced a grappler like that Dupuma guy, he didn't look good, man. He was getting taken down a lot. It was not looking good in that fight for him. Even though he won the fight, he got up and did some things, but it wasn't looking great. And do I think Sam Patterson has good takedowns? Probably not. Like, it's mostly trips and body locks because he's so long. But Barlo, like, if it's standing for a long period of time, I think Barlo should win the striking pretty easily. And I think he has very good potential to KO Patterson. But if Patterson takes him down, do I think it's an auto sub either? I don't know about that, because I think this guy is pretty strong and athletic. So he might be able to, like, explode out of certain positions. Tim? I'm going to go with one where it's a little bit sneaky and I guess there's potential it could happen with takedowns and top time a little bit without finishing. And that's Patterson decision. It's 11-1. It's very big, honestly. I think Fight Goes is 3-1. But his decision is 11-1. I don't know. I think when I look at the props on the fight, I think they're overvaluing they're overvaluing his submission prop. It's like 4.5 to 1, 5 because he got him against. I think those other guys are just complete bums. You know, I don't know. Barlo might not be very good on the ground, but I think he's super athletic and strong. So I think he can get out of certain positions. You know, so and I don't think Patterson is finding a KO here. Maybe unless it's like ground and pound or something, full mount, but. Yeah, just a decision 11 to 1 when the fight goes is 3 to 1. I don't know. I think a sprinkle on that is fine, but I do think Barlo wins this fight. Tim?
Yes, you are on an island with that call. I don't think I've heard anybody that thinks that Sam's winning a decision there. But I do see the logic that if he does get takedowns and he stays, I mean, he needs to basically stay alive and then get a couple takedowns. So like, and I think that like him moving up to, I think his defense, I think Sam's defense striking is bad. I'll say that, but I do think moving up to 170 could help his chin. Like he just cutting all that weight. He's a huge 155er, and cutting all that weight just can't also help. It just can't help the durability. I don't think that he's a durable guy in general, and I think he is hittable. He's a total giraffe, dude. I mean, like his neck is like 13 inches. So it's like it's like you said, it's almost like impossible to not have your head up and have your chin there to be exposed. That being said, like the DePuma fight for me is like, that was really bad. I mean, like, I think that I don't think that DePuma is anywhere close to the same grappling level as Sam is. So I'm going to take. I do think that it's more likely a KO, but I don't know at what time it would happen and all that different shit. And probably happens early, but I'm going to go with the Sam by sub and Sam sub 1, sub 2. I do think if he does get a sub, I think it would be early. Plus 490, sub 1, plus 1200, sub 2, plus 1500. I just can't get the looks of what Barlo looked like on the ground and what he was doing, and he got flattened out and had his back day. Like I just thought it would look really, really, really bad. I just think that if you know, he needs to have really, really, really improved his grappling over the last 2 years. That wasn't like 6 years ago either. Like that was like 2-3 years ago. So I don't think that it's like. He needs to have really worked on his grappling in order to have shored up those holes, and I just don't know that he has. So yeah, give me a shot on the giraffe.
Yeah. Who is that lightweight from that really tall lightweight from Australia that fought recently? He beat that one guy that hadn't fought in forever, and then he recently fought and won. Fuck.
Did he fight Slava? The guy that fought Slava?
Yeah. What's his name?
Oh, I can't remember.
Dude, him and Patterson at fucking 155.
Yeah.
Both of them are giraffes, dude. Nolan.
Yeah.
Nolan and him at 155. Jesus Christ, those two guys. But yeah, let's
I'm 155. I'm 155.
Tom Nolan and Sam Patterson at 55. Let's make a fun matchup. All right, moving on. Fight number 7. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 14-2 William Gomes versus the 10-0 Hyder Emil. Tim, this one's yours.
Well, I think this is another one of those just classic battles here where you get a guy that's typically trying to avoid fights and has really good defense and movement and is athletic, way younger, versus a absolute full rabies mode, going to come at you all the way, Hyder Emil. For me, I just think that Gomes is this is like a worse version of Joe Anderson Brito than he like his last fight. I mean, I just think that this guy, Joe Anderson Brito, does everything that Hyder Emil does, and he just does it better. I mean, like every skill. So it's like more dangerous, ability to just like a little bit more defensively sound, better wrestler, more physical, better cardio, like everything. He's just better. And we saw that Gomes was able to weasel his way into that decision. The thing about it for me that where I'm going on my props here for Gomes is like, I'm going to go Gomes round 2 and Gomes round 3. I just thought, like, I think Hyder's there to be, even though he absolutely killed Fernie Garcia, and Fernie's super durable. Fernie hurt him in that fight. And then also when he got taken down, he got his, like, Fernie got his back and couldn't get a choke in. Like he had, I had a 40-1 live bet on Fernie in that fight. And I was just like, all right, I'll throw $25 on this fucking thing. And he instantly reverses and gets his back and can't sink in the choke. And I'm like, you suck so bad, Fernie. So, like, I just think that was, like, just shows how fucking spastic Hyder Emil is in every sense. Like, he's just spastic striking, he's spastic wrestling and grappling. And I think that this guy could get finished. I think this is one of those situations where Gomes can actually, like, connect and maybe hurt him late in this fight, and or potentially cook him if he gets tired. So Gomes round 2, round 3 is plus 1,500, plus 1,700. If you want a slight whisper bet, I'll give a small whisper bet. I do like the KO more than the sub, but the sub 2 is plus 5,000 and the sub 3 is plus 7,500. So I do think that there is a chance that Hyder Emil could get either club and subbed, or he could get bonked in round 2 or round 3 and just panic shoot and, like, go straight into a guillotine. So I like round 2, round 3, absolute tiny sprinkles on sub 2, sub 3.
Yeah, I mean, Gomes, he's long, so he's very long, and maybe he can club and sub, like you said. Maybe Hyder Emil is very sloppy, man, in everything he does. His grappling is sloppy, his striking is sloppy. He's just a wild madman. And in the LFA fight against Gibson had a rear naked choke in deep, man, under the fucking neck, deep, and you could see him grimacing, but he fought out of it. But, like, I looked at the sub, and it's huge. It's literally huge. It's 16-1, 17-1. I think you could find 18-1 even on Gomes sub. But I feel like 2-3 is better here, just because, well, one, I think that he's going to get clipped pretty often by Gomes. Gomes is very sharp striker. He's comes up the middle. His punches are straight. Got very good lateral movement. And Hyder Emil, with his style, it's probably going to be, he's going to have a hard time finding Gomes, man. He really is. And so I do think that with all the missing and all the maybe failed takedown, even takedowns are not going to be easy against Gomes. And him getting kind of, like, pieced up, I do see, and Gomes has very good cardio. That's the other thing. He can go for 3 hard rounds. Round 2 is 15-1. Round 3 is 18-1. If you want to do, like you said, sub 2-3, whatever, I think it's more than likely, if he's finishing there, it's KO 2-3. 6 of his 7 knockouts have come in round 2 and 3 for Gomes. So, he has some finishing ability later. It's probably a lower level of opposition, but I really don't think Emil is, like, a high-level opponent. He's just dangerous in that he throws caution to the wind and just absolutely starts chucking on you. And if you're not careful, he can literally, take your head off, because he's throwing, like, winging huge shots. So, but Gomes is very hard to hit. That's the thing. Extremely, extremely hard to hit. And I do think there's a world where, Gomes can find the finish later when this guy is tired or does something stupid, shoots himself into a guillotine, like you said, or whatever it may be, right? So I like 2-3 here for Gomes. Moving on, fight number 9 or 8. It's in the lightweight division. It is a 17-5 Nasrat Hackpress versus the 14-1 Esteban Ribovics. Man, I was surprised how much bigger Esteban is here. But when it comes to striking, man, I do think Nasrat's a little bit better. He's got better boxing, in my opinion. It's a little bit faster. He's got faster hands. Ribovics is just he's got the hardware, man. He's got crazy hardware. It's very strong. He's powerful. He's got big shots, but he resets a lot. He'll throw 3-4 punches walking forward and reset, come back and reset. And he does that over and over again. And I also think his footwork is very sloppy. Like he's stepping right over left, left over right when he's throwing these punches. And Nasrat's a lot more cleaner. You know, he's a southpaw. He lands nice 1-2s up the middle. He's got a solid jab. I think this fight is closer than the line indicates, in my opinion. And Nasrat decision is 425. Nasrat split is 11-1. That's where I'm going here, man. Can Ribovics knock him out? Yeah, I mean, the guy is fun. He's got a lot of power, but technically speaking, he lacks in that department. So I think Hackpress decision is not bad here. I don't think he can finish this guy. This guy is very, very durable. But I think his decision prop is definitely live here if it hits the scorecards. And, you know, maybe he could just out-volume him, land the cleaner strikes, you know, and win a decision, a close decision. Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I had one of mine as like if I were on the Nasrat, I would say Nasrat split at 11-1. I had that as like the other play. For me, I'm on the Ribovics side. Dude, I love this guy from the last fight. I mean, that was one of the best fights I've ever seen. How often do you get a guy that gets knocked down in a round and gets all three judges to give him the round? Like that never ever happens other than that fight. So he's just got the dog in him. I think he's got he's way bigger, as we saw, as you said. I just think that this is a fight for me that Nasrat's like, I do agree that he's got good boxing, but it's like kind of predictable with his left hand. It's like kind of predictable, like just what he goes for the same combinations over and over and over. And I feel like when you watch him fight, the combinations are so predictable that even a guy like Landon Quinones was starting to figure it out and be able to time his shots on him. So like, I just think that, and then the other problem I think, which is going to go to my call, is like Jared Gordon was legitimately hurting him on the feet. Like it was noticeably pretty bad that he was getting hurt. And it was just like, Jared Gordon is not hurting a lot of dudes striking. So to me, I just feel like Ribovics, that last fight versus Zellhuber is, to me, just a really durable Mexican, and he should have pretty much had him out. Like he was inches away from having him out in that fight. So to me, it's round 2, 900, round 3, 1100. Don't hate the KO for Ribovics, plus 310. I think that those are good spots. I think that I think he could cook him late here and hurt him and just eventually finish him here for me. So,
yeah. Well, I will say that with the Gordon fight, like he was so concerned with takedowns though too, man. 13 takedowns attempted, you know. So Gordon's a little bit of a different fighter than Ribovics. You are right. He was landing on him. Quinones, like you said, landed on him. But like if you look at like Ribovics, man, his defense is bad too, man. He's getting landed on a lot. Even Kamala Kirk was landing a shit ton against this guy, you know. So you know, it's one of those fights where I think one guy's a little bit cleaner of the two. I think Hackpress is a little bit cleaner, but one guy has more power and has crazy hardware, you know, crazy hardware from him. So yeah. Let's move on. Fight number 9. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 10-6 Cody Brundage versus the 9-5 Julian Marquez. That's yours, Tim.
Can we like do something with the MMA community and just get this fight to not be the co-main and switch Ribovics and Hackpress or anything like that? What can we do as a community to not have this be the co-main event? How in the fuck did they design?
But don't you think there's going to be some violence in this fight?
There's going to be violence in this fight, but it's just going to be
that answers the question why this is probably the co-main event. Honestly,
yeah. This goes along with another one of those fights we were talking about earlier, where it's like with the Ramos Chpe and a just situation where it's like, okay, is there a more skilled fighter in these two? Yes. Is there a bigger dog in the fight? Yes. Is there somebody that you can, that has it's basically a fight. So you're looking at two guys and you're like, these guys are fighters. Which one is going to literally fight for your money? And Marquez is that guy. Marquez has the dog in him. I know he's been finished violently in his last 3 fights, but it's just like, dude, Marc-Andre Barrio would absolutely cook Brundage late, just like he did, like RoboCop. It would be an absolute fucking massacre. Like none of these guys. The only one is the Reese, where we saw it, and Reese obviously got slam KO'd. So that's a little bit different. But to me, I just think it's Marquez KO plus 400. The round 2 is plus 650, just plain old round 2, not a KO 2. Round 3 is plus 1500. KO 2 is 1600. KO 3 is plus 3200. I think they get outside of the first 3.5 minutes in this fight, and I think that Marquez can finish Cody, and Cody will probably quit.
Yeah, my problem with Marquez is, listen, I don't blame him for getting knocked out by Rodriguez. Andre Barrio, whatever, he basically kind of, I guess, cooked him, because Marc-Andre really doesn't have a lot of power. The problem is the way, it was an uppercut, just got flatlined against Reese. And I don't think Reese is that good. That's the problem. Reese is not, Reese threw everything in the kitchen sink against that Medina guy. Didn't even come close to finishing that fight.
That dude's got insane durability.
Yeah, he's tough, but just looking at Reese in general, I just look at what happened to him on a short notice against Bakoyev. Bakoyev is not known to be a knockout guy. Just absolutely obliterated the guy. You know what I'm saying? And it's I don't know what to make out of this Reese guy, but 3 straight losses, 3 straight KOs. When you put them and look at these two guys, who's the more skilled? It's not even close, man. I do think Brundage is a lot more skilled. Now, Hart, that's where you kind of start leaning towards, Marquez, right? But I think Brundage has a lot of power on the feet, man. He hurts a lot of people early in fights. And coming off 3 straight knockout losses, how is his... The thing is, I want to know how Marquez is mentally right now. And Brundage is probably not very good mentally, because he talks about, retirement and he might still retire if he loses and blah, 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 blah. But I still think he's the much more dangerous guy in round 1, right? So with that being said, I'm going to take a poke on KO1 is... I told my Discord to play it when it was 650 or 700 or something like that. KO 1-2 is 300. I just feel like 3 straight knockout losses. One guy is a lot more skilled than the other. One guy is faster. It could maybe even be ground and pound, something like that, because he's the much better wrestler. And like you said, if not, then maybe Marquez cooks him later, right? But the thing in my head that I'm thinking is I feel like Dumas is even more dangerous than a Marquez at this point. I just feel like he's got a little bit more power. He's younger, a little bit more athletic, stuff like that. And that fight went to decision, so I don't know. I like Brundage KO 1-2. This line's absolutely getting murdered. It's minus 110 apiece now. So everybody is betting Cody Brundage here. And it's mind-boggling to me because, do they know something we don't know? Why is everybody putting money on Brundage? Yes, he's got more skills. Yes, probably he's the better wrestler and the striker. But, he quits a lot. So, can you put your hard-earned money on someone that quits? I can't. But I also can't bet Marquez, man. He looks awful.
No, this is a total 1-800 fight.
Dumpster fire fight, man.
If you want to bet this fight, just pick people at your house to flip quarters with and bet on that instead.
I want nothing to do with this fight. Sprinkle maybe KO 1-2 plus 300 Brundage. That's how I look at it. with that being said, guys, please do me a favor. Over 400 viewers. Please hit the like down below. Subscribe to my channel. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's at NarcoCop. Please follow me on Twitter. Follow also Timothy Troiano at Timothy Troiano on Twitter. And also my Discord is down below if you want. $25 through Odd Shopper. Shout out to them. Odd Shopper is they're treating me really good, man. Anything I want, they help me out. They have some great products there if you want to look at them. Just a great group of guys there. So shout out to them. Appreciate them for all the support. And with that being said, Tim, the main event of the night, and it is in the flyweight division. It is the 20-7 Manel Kape versus the 21-2 Asu Almabayev. And I am very big on Manel Kape here. I have 4 units total at minus 200. I just like him in this spot, man. He made the weight. He made the weight really good here. I think his wrestling, I know everybody's talking about his wrestling. I think his wrestling is really good now. His defensive wrestling is really good. His cardio is really good. His submission game is dangerous. And he's got the much better striking here with way more UFC experience. Meanwhile, you know, Asu Almabayev, the one guy that he fought that has good takedown defense, he went 1 for 6. And he needed a knockdown in round 3 to win that fight against Nicolau, who everybody thought prior to that fight, they were just giving him no chance. He was washed. Do you remember that? Washed. He has no chin, and somehow fought a close fight against Asu Almabayev there in a 3-round fight. This guy, I am telling you guys, he gets tired. Watch the Vergara fight. He looked awful in round 3 in that fight because he still succeeded on 9 takedowns, right? But Vergara made him work. He kept getting up and made this guy work and work and work. And he looked awful in round 3. He was very, very tired. And he landed a takedown to kind of cement the round. The difference is Kape has much better defense than Vergara. It's not close. And his get-up game is very good. And his submission game is very dangerous. So with that, all that being said, man, this is the best 125er in the world, in my opinion, Manel Kape. And he is going to finish Asu Almabayev in rounds 3, 4, and 5 when this guy gets tired. And if you want my whisper bet of the week, it is Manel Kape by submission, rounds 3, 4, 5, plus 2,700. I like Manel Kape here. There's nothing more to say. I think he finishes. I just think Asu is way overrated at this point, and it's going to show come tomorrow. Tim?
Manel Kape 345, sub 345, same exact plays. Yeah, I mean, like 60 to 1, 70 to 1, 80 to 1 if you take them individual rounds, but add them up all together, Dutch is plus 2,700. Yeah, I agree, man. Like Nicolau had a deep choke in round 2. He barely survived it. Went to
the bell saved them. The fucking round was over.
Barely survives, and then you go and then he goes to the chair sitting down, and he's super discouraged. Like he's just like he needed to knock him down, and thank God that Nicolau's chin came back to haunt him again. I was on actually pre-flopping that fight. I was on Nicolau points and Nicolau split on that one, so I was kind of pissed because I thought that he had a potential after round 2 to maybe get a decision or split. But yeah, like I'm with you, man. It's just going to be so hard for Asu to be able to like ground Manel over and over and over, hold him down for 3 rounds. Like he needs.
It's
3.
not happening, man.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's gonna It's so.
Look, Mokaev is a million times better wrestler than this guy, and he had a lot of trouble. And even with Manel Kape having a dislocated or broken toe, bro, he was defending takedowns literally with a broken toe. You could see throughout the fight if you watch the video, he could not step on his foot. He was only on his heels the whole fucking time, like on one leg. It was crazy. But the guy is so athletic and so quick. He's been training with the Daggies and I don't know, man. I'm very high on this guy. The only guy that can stop Manel Cape, guys, there's one guy only. It's Manel Cape.
He's his biggest. Yeah, he's his biggest enemy, man. Like the guy is like he's got
so skilled, man. He's so skilled, and hopefully, he made weight, nice and comfortable. He looked very, very good on the scales. No botch weight cut, none of that. He knows. Listen, he knows this is his opportunity to gold right here. He loses, he's done. He's going right back down the ladder. He wins, I'm pretty sure they're going to give him a title shot at this point if he wins.
Yeah, I also think he kind of needs to win in like dramatic fashion. Like I think if he does a really boring ass decision in this fight, that would be the only way that they would potentially.
I mean, he destroyed Bruno Silva, man. I mean, he made Bruno Silva like an amateur in that fight, man.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. Like Asu has not faced anybody that hits remotely as hard as Manel does,
and fast and athletic, and I mean, it just, man, yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm losing a lot of money. But if I'm right, I'm winning a lot of money, and so yeah, that's the name of the game. All right, Tim, Lambo parlay time because I have to run. I have a dinner to go to. I will give mine first. My Lambo parlay is Johnson, round 3 decision. You got to get these at FanDuel, by the way. Round 3 decision, Johnson. Brundage, KO 1-2. Aldrich, by decision. And Cape, rounds 3, 4, and 5. You're going to get 182-1, 216-1, and 249-1. So, yeah, 182, 216, 249. That's what I'm going with the Lambo parlay this week. Tim, yours?
I got 2. I'm a little bit more confident on the second or on the first one than the second one, but Manel KO, Marquez KO 2-3 is 34-1.
Wait, what's the first one? What was the first one? Who KO?
Manel by KO, and then Marquez KO 2-3 is 34-1.
Okay.
And then the second one, to get a little greasier, if you like that, is Gomes KO 2-3, Ribovics KO 2-3 is 76-1.
All right, that's not a bad one actually. Rebo 2-3. KO and Gomes, that's not bad. 76-1. I like it. All right, guys, I have to get out of here. I appreciate each and every one of you. 413 of you in here. Tomorrow, before the card starts, I will do I've been doing this weekly on Twitter Spaces. It's called the Final Bell. I'm going to do a little recap of the weigh-ins, what happened from the weigh-ins till leading up to the card, stuff like that. We can talk about it. It's been actually really good. We've had some good talking back and forth on those spaces. So, yeah, again, follow me at NarcoCop. Follow him at Timothy Troiano. Timothy, anything else on the way out?
No, real quick, $25, your Discord, fucking worth it. You guys, sign it up. Seriously, if you like money. If you don't like money, you should. It helps.
Thank you very much, Tim. Appreciate that. And with that being said, guys, let's cash those tickets